Emergency responders arrived at the chaotic scene within minutes, lights flashing against the twisted metal of two severely damaged vehicles. One car lay overturned on its roof, its wheels still slowly spinning, while the other sat crumpled at the front, hood crushed inward from the force of the impact. Witnesses described the moment as sudden and terrifying, with a loud crash echoing through the street followed by a brief, stunned silence before panic set in. Several bystanders rushed toward the wreckage, some attempting to help while others immediately called emergency services. Danielle was reportedly inside one of the vehicles involved in the collision. According to early accounts, she had been traveling at a moderate speed when another car appeared to lose control, crossing into her lane. The exact cause of the accident remains unclear, but skid marks on the road suggest that at least one driver attempted to brake suddenly before impact. Authorities have not yet confirmed whether weather conditions, mechanical failure, or driver error played a role in the crash. Paramedics worked quickly to assess the situation. The overturned vehicle required careful handling, as rescuers had to ensure it was stable before attempting to extract anyone trapped inside. Firefighters used specialized tools to cut through the damaged frame, creating an opening large enough to safely remove the occupant. Meanwhile, Danielle was attended to by a separate team, who carefully checked for injuries while stabilizing her condition. Witnesses reported seeing her conscious but visibly shaken, though officials have not released an official statement regarding her medical status. Traffic in the surrounding area came to a complete standstill as police secured the scene. Officers directed vehicles away from the crash site, setting up barriers and warning signs to prevent further incidents. The road quickly filled with flashing lights from police cars, ambulances, and fire trucks, creating a tense and urgent atmosphere. Onlookers gathered at a distance, many recording videos on their phones as the situation unfolded. Some could be heard expressing shock, while others speculated about what might have caused such a violent collision. As investigators began their preliminary assessment, they carefully documented every detail. Photographs were taken from multiple angles, capturing the position of the vehicles, the extent of the damage, and any visible evidence on the road. Debris was scattered across a wide area, including broken glass, pieces of metal, and personal belongings that had been thrown from the vehicles during the crash. Each item could potentially provide crucial clues in determining exactly what happened. One witness claimed to have seen the moment just before impact, stating that the second vehicle appeared to be swerving erratically. "It didn't look right," the witness said. "The car was moving side to side, like the driver lost control." Another bystander mentioned hearing what sounded like a horn just seconds before the crash, suggesting that one of the drivers may have tried to warn the other. However, these accounts have not yet been verified by authorities, and investigators are urging anyone with information to come forward. Emergency crews remained at the scene for an extended period, carefully clearing the wreckage and ensuring that all hazards were addressed. Fluids leaking from the vehicles posed a potential fire risk, so firefighters took precautions to contain and neutralize any dangerous substances. Tow trucks were eventually called in to remove the damaged cars, a process that required precision and coordination due to the severity of the damage. Meanwhile, questions surrounding Danielle's condition continued to grow. Friends and concerned individuals began sharing messages online, expressing worry and hoping for updates. The lack of official information only added to the uncertainty, leaving many to rely on scattered eyewitness reports. Some described her as alert and responsive, while others suggested she may have sustained injuries that required immediate medical attention. Authorities have stated that updates will be provided once more details are confirmed. Investigators are also reviewing any available surveillance footage from nearby buildings or traffic cameras. Such footage could be critical in reconstructing the sequence of events leading up to the crash. By analyzing vehicle speeds, positions, and movements, officials hope to gain a clearer understanding of how the collision occurred. In addition, they are examining the vehicles themselves for any signs of mechanical failure, such as brake issues or steering malfunctions. As the scene was gradually cleared, the emotional impact of the incident remained evident. Witnesses who had been present during the crash described feeling shaken long after the emergency crews had finished their work. For many, the suddenness of the event served as a stark reminder of how quickly situations on the road can turn dangerous. Authorities are once again emphasizing the importance of safe driving practices, urging drivers to remain alert and cautious at all times. Despite the ongoing investigation, several key questions remain unanswered. What caused the second vehicle to lose control? Was there any external factor that contributed to the crash? And most importantly, what is the full extent of Danielle's condition? These questions continue to drive the investigation forward, as officials work to piece together the events of that critical moment. For now, the focus remains on gathering accurate information and ensuring that those involved receive the care they need. As more details emerge, a clearer picture of the incident is expected to take shape. Until then, the incident stands as a dramatic and unsettling event that has captured widespread attention, leaving many waiting for confirmed updates and answers. At the hospital, medical teams moved swiftly as Danielle was brought into the emergency unit. The atmosphere inside was intense but controlled, with doctors and nurses coordinating every step of the process. She was immediately placed on a stretcher and taken for a series of rapid assessments, including scans and vital checks. According to sources within the facility, the priority was to rule out any life-threatening injuries and stabilize her condition as quickly as possible. While officials remained cautious about releasing details, it was confirmed that she was receiving continuous monitoring under close supervision. Outside the hospital, the situation was equally tense. A small crowd had gathered, including concerned friends, local residents, and members of the media. Everyone was waiting for any official update that could clarify Danielle's condition. Security personnel were present to manage the crowd and ensure that emergency operations inside the hospital were not disrupted. Some individuals could be seen checking their phones repeatedly, hoping for news, while others spoke quietly among themselves, trying to piece together what had happened based on the limited information available. Meanwhile, law enforcement officials continued their investigation at the crash site. By this point, much of the debris had been cleared, but investigators were still carefully the area. They measured skid marks, reviewed the positioning of the vehicles before removal, and collected samples that might help determine contributing factors. Accident reconstruction experts were called in to analyze the evidence in detail. Their role is crucial in cases like this, as they use scientific methods to recreate the sequence of events leading up to the collision. Preliminary findings suggested that speed may not have been the primary factor in the accident. Instead, attention began to shift toward the possibility of driver error or a sudden mechanical issue. Investigators are also considering whether distraction could have played a role. In today's world, even a brief moment of inattention, such as checking a phone or adjusting controls, can lead to serious consequences on the road. However, officials have emphasized that it is too early to draw any firm conclusions. Witness statements continued to play an important role in shaping the investigation. Several individuals who were present at the scene provided detailed accounts of what they saw and heard. One witness described the sound of tires screeching just before the impact, suggesting that at least one driver attempted to avoid the collision at the last moment. Another mentioned that traffic in the area had been flowing normally up until the crash, with no obvious signs of congestion or unusual behavior from other vehicles. Authorities are also working to identify and speak with the driver of the second vehicle involved in the accident. Their condition and account of the could provide critical insight into what happened. Medical updates regarding that individual have been limited, but it is believed that they were also transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. Investigators will likely conduct interviews once both drivers are in a stable condition, as first-hand accounts are essential in determining responsibility and understanding the full of the crash. Back at the hospital, Danielle underwent further diagnostic procedures. Imaging tests such, and possibly a CT scan were conducted to check for internal injuries that might not be immediately visible. Medical professionals are trained to look beyond the obvious, ensuring that even subtle signs of trauma are identified and addressed. According to unofficial reports, she remained conscious during parts of the evaluation, which is often considered a positive sign. However, doctors are known to proceed with caution in such cases, as symptoms can sometimes develop hours after an incident. Family members were reportedly notified and began making their